So today we are taking a look at the Lenovo Legion Slim 5's latest version. Now although Lenovo is calling this laptop the Legion Slim 5, but there is nothing that can be considered slim about this laptop. It weighs around 2.3 kg and because the laptop has a tapered design, it is 19.9 millimeters thin at its thinnest point and 21.9 millimeters thick at its thickest. In terms of specs, it is a 16-inch gaming laptop featuring Ryzen 7 8845HS, which is AMD's Hawk Point Zen 4 chip, and it features a decently good Radeon 780M iGPU. In terms of dedicated graphics, we have an RTX 4060 with 8GB GDDR6 VRAM running at 140W TGP. It also has a single stick DDR5 RAM running at 5600 MHz, which is the maximum this CPU can support. It also gets a PCIe Gen 4 1TB SSD along with the essential connectivity features. Now the keyboard flex on this laptop is very minimal, which is an improvement over its previous model. The hinge movement over here is nice and smooth, so there is not an issue. And the hinge is neither too loose or too stiff and settles quite easily when you change the lid's position. And just like most Lenovo laptops, this one goes all the way up to 180 degrees as well. Now the port situation is pretty fantastic as well. You have a full-size SD card slot, a physical camera shutter on the right side and two USB Type-C ports on the left side, one of which can support Lenovo PD charging up to 140 watts along with DisplayPort 1.4 functionality, and there's also the 3.5mm audio jack. At the back, you have two USB Type-A ports, both are USB 3.2 Gen 2 and one of them also has always on functionality, an Ethernet slot and an HDMI 2.1 slot with up to 8K 60Hz output. In terms of upgradability, here's how the laptop looks from the inside. You can easily upgrade the RAM, which is placed underneath this metal case. And you can also upgrade the SSD very easily. The Wi-Fi is Wi-Fi 6E and it is neither Intel nor MediaTek, but it's from Realtek. And here's the kind of speed you can expect on this. The battery is 80 Wh capacity and around 78.1 Wh of it is usable. And in terms of battery life, the laptop delivered around 1 hour 2 minutes while gaming and 6 hours 32 minutes during video playback and other normal stuff. And what further helps the battery life is the ease with which you can change the display. There are 4 display modes, including one dedicated GPU mode which turns off the iGPU entirely. Now turning this mode on or off requires a restart, but that's not the case if you want to switch between the other different modes. Also, there is not much difference between dedicated GPU mode and hybrid GPU mode, so it's best to leave your laptop in the hybrid mode so it automatically switches to dedicated GPU when gaming and internal GPU when doing normal tasks. And if you want to just play games on the new iGPU, then here's how it performs. Now, it is not good as the iGPU in the latest AMD Ryzen AI 9 HX processors, but it is still something. Moreover, here's how the laptop battery drains when I am running games on the iGPU versus when I am running them on the external GPU, and you can see that the difference is around 10%. So, if you want to play games on this thing while on battery, I would still suggest using the external GPU only. As for temperatures during heavy use, here's a quick breakdown. During stress test, the laptop goes all the way up to 93 degrees, and during gaming, the temperatures remain around 80 degrees. Now, these numbers are decent enough for a gaming laptop this size. But in terms of surface temperature, the middle of the keyboard is the area which gets noticeably warm. And I tested this laptop in an AC room. So if you're planning on playing on this machine in a non-AC room, then I think the surface temperature could become a point of irritation for you. And the speed of the SSD are also pretty good, and this goes to show that Lenovo has put in a high-spec PCIe Gen 4 SSD in this thing. I also tested a bunch of games and here's how they all perform. So first up we have Dirt 5, and we are going to be testing this at the native 1600p resolution and high preset. And as you can see, I have kept the VSync and dynamic resolution scaling at off because I really want to see how this GPU performs in terms of raw power. So as you can see, we are getting a pretty smooth FPS without any frame drops, and the image quality looks very nice. We are averaging between 90 to 100 FPS, which is pretty decent, and although it has been some time since this game came out, it has been a pretty reliable way to benchmark any old or new laptop. And as you can see, we received about 91.9 FPS, which is very good. Next up is AC Valhalla, and as you can see, we are running it at native 1600p resolution along with the 165Hz native refresh rate, and we are also running it at high graphics preset. In terms of performance, you can see we are getting around 70 to 80 FPS with the GPU temps being quite high at 75 degrees. It is good that the GPU utilization is 100% as it means that the game is perfectly utilizing the GPU and there is no bottleneck in the system. And in the end, you can see that we got 81 FPS on average. Up next is Gears 5, which is again running at 1600p and high graphics preset. Now this particular game is a highly GPU dependent title, and as a result we are seeing it using the GPU at max. Also look at the power draw of the GPU, it is well within triple digits. Although it is not using the full 140 watt TGP as it is just touching the 111 watt and just coming down from there, but still the game is running smoothly. And in the end, you can see that we received 96.5 FPS. Next up is Metro Exodus. Now this is a particularly taxing game as you'll see ahead in this benchmark, and it too is running at 1600p resolution and high settings. And although it does have DLSS, we have kept it off just because of the same reason. And as you can see, the game is clearly pushing the CPU and the GPU to their limits, and the FPS is falling to as low as 40 FPS. In the end, the laptop managed 69 FPS on average. Up next is GTA 5 Enhanced Edition. Now this particular game we are running at max settings possible at ultra and very high because GTA is doing graphics preset a little differently than other games. We are also keeping the resolution at 1600p native only. And as you can see, we are getting between 50 to 60 FPS, but mostly the FPS is remaining in the mid 50s range. Also, this is a graphically enhanced version of GTA 5 which has better texture and shadows, and it does look pretty good while running on this machine. Next up is the CPU bound Civilization 6, and over here you can see it set at 1600p and 165Hz refresh rate. Along with performance and memory impact is set up at high. And here's how it performs. As you can see, the 8-core Ryzen CPU is really working well and we are getting more than 100 FPS easily. And although Civilization 7 is also available, I find the Civilization 6 to be a better benchmarking tool because it has all the updates and is simply more optimized. And we have an average FPS of around 122. Up next is Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and this too is running at 1600p high setting with the DLSS kept off. And here's how it performs. We are getting close to 130 to 140 FPS, so this is a perfect game to play on this laptop's 165Hz display. Overall, the gameplay we are getting is nice and smooth. And in the end, the Shadow of the Tomb Raider delivered 128 FPS at high settings. Up next is one of the most demanding games, which is the Warhammer Space Marine 2, running at 1600p and high settings, and we are running at native resolution. So let's see how we perform. So right now we are getting around 40 to 50 FPS, and I have to say that we are struggling a bit over here, mainly because the frame rate feels choppy, and this is why I think that the RTX 4060 is sort of showing its age, especially in 2025 games. And here is the final result in one place. Now, before I wrap up this video, let me address its specifications one more time. You see, the combination of the Ryzen 7 8845HS and the RTX 4060 can also be found in other laptops. For example, you can find the Lenovo Loke with the same CPU, GPU for Rs 1.05 lakh, but the GPU TGP in that case is just 115 watts. You can also get the Acer Nitro V16 with the RTX 4060, but it gets around 85 watts only. Lekin you can get the Asus TUF Gaming A15 for 1.12 lakh with an RTX 4060 with 140 watt AGP, but its display is just 250 nits with 1080p resolution and 144 Hz. Meanwhile, on the Legion Slim 5, we get a 1600p display with 165 Hz panel and 350 nits brightness. Now, before I tell you a good alternative within the Rs 1.5 lakh, let me sum up this laptop first. So the Lenovo Legion 5 Slim with the AMD Ryzen 7 8845HS and the Nvidia RTX 4060 with 140 watt TGP is a good laptop, but it is a tad bit expensive. It has a good display, a good selection of IO ports, great build quality and good gaming performance, but its surface gets noticeably warm, and instead of the Ryzen 7 8845HS CPU, there should have been a Ryzen 9 chip instead. And last but not the least, there are some RTX 4070 laptop options also available in this range. For rupees 1.49 lakh, you can get the Asus ROG Strix G16 with Core i7 13650HX and the RTX 4070. For 1.34 lakh, you can also get the MSI Katana 17 with i7 13700H and RTX 4070. And for an AMD option, you can get the Asus TUF Gaming A15 with Ryzen 9 8945HS and RTX 4070. So, that was it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Yatnesh Dubey, and if you have any doubts, drop them in the comment section below and I will see you guys next time.